Picture this. You are in Japan. Your next endurance race is just 3 days away and you are frantically trying to get the race car ready.
Well, you always make me do it on my own, Derek!
Okay, not that bad.
You want this?
But then... What do you do in this situation? We have that Impreza, but they are known to blow gearboxes. What else do we have? Oh, a Vitz. But don't click away. It's a factory TRD Turbo Vitz. While we are down one Miata, at least we have a cool backup car. It's like Gran Turismo.
Is it a happy day or a sad day, Mike?
Not so happy.
No?
So let's rewind to the beginning and see how we got here. We typically start preparing for the next race about a month in advance. This gives us some time to make improvements to the car, change a few parts, and make sure the maintenance is up to par. So, plan of attack for this race was: change to stiffer springs, get some smaller tires, remove the complete AC and heater system, and kick butt in the next race.
What's going on? Doesn't our car already have springs? The answer is yes, but they're not great springs that are on there. So we got a set of new springs. These are made by a company called Swift.
Our Miata has a nice set of Öhlins suspension. It was a great upgrade to the Tane suspension we had on earlier.
Right now, we got all this fender gap. It's like 6 centimeters of fender gap.
It already had Swift springs on it, however, they were both too long and still too soft. You can clearly see that the front tires are showing excessive wear on the outside few centimeters compared to the rest of the tire. You can fix this in one of several ways. 1. Add more camber to the car. Done. We're at 3.5 degrees. 2. Stiffen the anti-roll bars. Again, done. Cuscos are in there. Number 3. Stiffen the spring rate. Now they're already pretty stiff, but we want them stiffer. Having an even stiffer spring rate will further limit side-to-side roll and should allow more of the tire's contact patch to hit the pavement.
Okay, so we got the strut out.
The current springs are 10 kilograms per millimeter on the front and 8 kilograms per millimeter on the rear. We explained how spring rates work in our install video, so give that a watch for more details. This time, we're moving to a 12K spring in the front. That's 20% stiffer. We're also putting in helper springs. So, Mobara has a lot of high curbs, which causes the car to lose contact with the ground a few times per lap. When the wheel becomes airborne, the spring could come loose, and the helper springs hold the main spring in place. Note, they do not change the spring rate at all, because they are completely compressed when driving. Now what about the rear, I hear you say? Well, against all better judgment, we went for a softer rear spring.
Softer? What's wrong with you, Derek?
Well, here's the idea. We want to encourage more weight transfer to the rear of the car during acceleration. With more weight shifted to the rear, we can get more grip there. Then we won't lose as much traction over the bumpy parts of the track. We decided to go down from an 8K to a 7K, and that's a 12.5% decrease. As with anything in racing, there's a lot of trial and error, and this is our theory, and we intended to test it in the next race. That is, if we didn't have a broken Miata.
But the ride height looks appropriate. Looks like it gives us some room in there if we need it. Okay, not that bad.
Now, why would we want to go to smaller tires? The huge 245 tires from the last race were great, but there was too much tire there to warm up. This time we are stepping down to a staggered setup with 225 in the rear and smaller 205s in the front. And guess what? A smaller tire saves us money. Air conditioning is heavy and we don't use it in the race. At this point, it's just dead weight that we carry around. So Mike and I got together on a cold and rainy day that turned out to be a test of our tolerance for discomfort.
Yeah, we were supposed to get rain today, but not until after 6. Blah. You need help, or do you need me to stand here with the camera?
I want you to stand there with the camera and shout directions at me.
Okay. No, you're doing it wrong, Mike.
Well, you always make me do it on my own, Derek.
You are going to crash. Door mirror's right there.
The other one's over there.
It's raining too hard. We're gonna have to escape. You know what? That's gonna be on the windshield. We'll remember.
I really wish I didn't, but I wanted to do it so badly.
What are you doing, you 14-year-old?
I'm reusing them.
Let's go back and be a legit race team. Look at that, Mike. Portable garage. This is so cool. Let's pull the car in. All right, I'll film and you push. Okay?
Wait, what?
What do you got? You got a present for us? Yeah, boy. How heavy is it?
I'm thinking...
Like 7 kilos.
Yeah, probably 7.
All right, throw it in the pile.
Oh, do I get to throw this? Where am I gonna throw it? Oh, the bumper it's coming out. Oh, yeah. Give it to me. Ow. Oh, something fell on my face.
This bottle thing is getting stuck.
Well, that might work.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it, right? Yeah. Take it out and throw it.
You want this?
Get out of the race.
We got the things out, and it was not easy. The heater was there in the middle. The heater cord. That was a huge pain in the butt to get out.
After we got everything out, we wanted to see the fruits of our labor and we weighed all the parts. Altogether, we saved about 18 kilograms. We looped the hose that normally goes to the heater core and replaced the belt with a shorter one. All in all, this should reduce the load on the engine and make the car just a little bit faster.
All things considered, it went pretty well. So I'm pretty happy with that.
I think it's been the most successful day we've had.
Yeah.
Like we had some problems, but it's all fixed now.
And this brings us back to the Miata, the car that is sitting there and not being our race car. 3 days before the race.
All this smoke seemed at first, because it smells like coolant, seemed like it was maybe the coolant that came out when we did the heater reroute. Over here, it actually may be leaking or something like that, but that doesn't seem like the big concern. You know, smoking engine usually is the big concern. I don't know, and it's been running for long enough that if it was something weird, like a lifter or something, it doesn't even sound like that, but if it was, it would have sorted itself out by now. That sounds like something inside. Not that happy.
We have a potentially broken race car. Undoubtedly broken race car?
Potentially is like a 5 out of 10. I'd say that this is more like a 10 out of 10.
Well, we don't know if it's fixable in time for the race, right? Or you're assuming, judging by the way you're saying it ain't getting fixed.
No, I don't even know what we're going to do. We got the race in literally 3 days. That's not enough time to fix it. Now, we had planned on bringing a backup car in case this car broke during the race. And so I'm thinking, Mike, we just run the backup car without a spare car. The backup car's not really ready.
How about we blow the engine on the track?
Our race car broke down, and lucky for us, we got a couple of cars that we can bring. We've got the car carrier, and so we can bring 2 cars. That means 1 car that's going to break.
Ha! We tricked you. We actually have 2 backup cars. So we will take the Turbo Vitz as the main car and the Impreza as the backup. But why would we pick this stupid little Gran Turismo starter car over the STi, the car you wish you got as a starter car?
Why the f did you bring a Vitz to the race, Derek? No races these.
You have a GC8. Why would you bring a Vitz? You're a loser. Unsubscribe.
It was a hard choice because the Impreza is the cooler and faster car. We saw that in the last video where we took it to a time attack challenge. It was fast. The problem is, we are doing an endurance race. Imprezas are excellent race cars if you have a full dedicated racing team, professional equipment, 2 spare transmissions, and a badass Colin McRae livery. We don't have any of those things. On a serious note though, the Impreza is just more of everything. More power means more heat, more tires, more brakes, and more money. Yeah, the Impreza is also 4 times the cost of the Vitz. There will be more than tears if it breaks. The Vitz, however, has the halo of Toyota reliability. A smaller car with less power means less heat, less tires, less brakes, and less money. We might be slower in lap times, but if the car doesn't break, we don't go bankrupt. And then if it breaks, which it has a good chance of doing.
No.
Maybe.
Guaranteed to survive.
Luckily, this isn't just any Vitz. This is a Vitz RS Turbo, a special version tuned by TRD. This has to be one of the most fun cars I've ever driven, not even joking. It features the same 1.5 liter 1NZ FE engine from the normal RS version, but with a turbocharger. This bumps the engine's output from 110 to 150 horsepower. Not bad for a car that weighs only 1,000 kilograms. To make that power reliably, TRD also added an oil cooler and a big radiator from the factory. All the things the Impreza doesn't have. We'll take them both on the track in the practice before the actual race.
Watch the GC8 break there.
But that doesn't mean it's a race car. It's completely stock, right down to the suspension and the seat. We only put some old racing tires on it that we still had from the Miata. So this car is basically like you're playing Gran Turismo from the very beginning. It's just a shame it's not pink. Oh, and I changed oil and brake fluid, and that one's got a brand new clutch. And this one has a new suspension on it, so it's not like we're being irresponsible taking these on the track.
But
We're gonna find out later what's wrong with the engine. We're gonna continue using the real race car. Engine swap! Woo! So there you have it. We will take the rare Turbo Vitz to an endurance race. Will it survive?
It's pretty good.
How will it stack up to the competition? And are we stupid? You'll have to subscribe to find out.
wish us luck. We're gonna need it.